Alright, so we are back for another Dokkan battle video, and in today's video we are going to be going over the full details for the new World Tournament LR PILAF, and then some of the World Tournament EZA'S. So definitely some pretty exciting news. Obviously a new free-to-play LR is nice. It's crazy to think about that we've got an LR PILAF before we got an LR Kid Buu, and an LR Ribrianne for a matter of fact. Yeah, the more I think about that, the worse it's going to get. So anyway, we can go ahead and get right into his details. As you can see, this is the card art. Actually, looks pretty good. I like, the pink in the background, and all three of these guys look nice as well. So, good card art. And then their leader skill. So, it's Dragon Ball Seekers, category Ki +4, HP and attack and defense plus 130%. It says Ki +3, but Minato did specify in this little comment right here that it is Ki +4. Also, shout out to Minato for the translations. I forgot to say that. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Ki +3, Ki +4. You're not using this guy as a lead. So, whatever. Doesn't matter. But then his super attack effects on his 12 Ki is that he raises attack for 1 turn, causes colossal damage. And then his super attack effect on his 18 Ki is that he raises attack for 1 turn, causes mega colossal damage with a high chance to stun. So obviously no defense on either his 12 or 18 Ki is really bad. I mean, the high chance to stun, I guess it's nice. I mean, for like Super Battle Road, that could be pretty useful, but I don't know, man. No defense here is a little rough. I mean, the 30% attack is nice because it's on 12 and 18 Ki, but if he doesn't have like a bunch of built-in additionals, there's really no use for even the 30% attack. So, not the biggest fan of his super attack effects, but it's fine. As long as he's got some dodge, damage reduction, guard, I guess he doesn't necessarily need defense on super. So then his passive is that he plays the entrance animation upon entry once only, and then he changes physical key spheres to AGL Tech or STR key spheres for 5 turns. So, I mean, orb changing is nice. I guess if you need an orb changer, I mean, he'll be pretty useful for that. And then he gets attack and defense plus 120%. He gets 40% attack and defense when performing a super, so at least he is getting some stats on super. I guess that's pretty good in his passive. And then he gets an additional 40% attack and defense if it's an ultra super attack. Okay, so that's pretty good. So between him orb changing, and then you can see here, he does also get 1 Ki per type Ki sphere obtained. He's going to be getting an 18 Ki fairly frequently. So then with that, you're getting 80% attack and defense on super, which is pretty good. I mean, I don't know, only 120% attack and defense start of turn isn't really crazy, but for an LR, it's not necessarily bad either. So I guess he's looking alright so far. And then he also gets 70% attack and defense, and then performs an additional attack that has a high chance to become a super when collecting an AGL key sphere. And then he gets 100% defense, and then a high chance to evade enemies' attack, including super, when collecting a tech key sphere. Okay, so that's really good. The high chance to dodge, especially if you just throw him in slot 2 or 3, let him get all the defense on super, and then also him having that high chance to dodge, is going to be pretty good. But unfortunately, you do need oh, I think I said tech key sphere. It is an AGL key sphere, as you can see right here. Sorry, it's really late at the time of me recording this, so if I'm a little off, again, sorry about that. But no, you need an AGL key sphere, and then you get the extra 100% defense and high chance to dodge. And then when you get a tech key sphere, you get 100% attack and then a high chance to crit. So yeah, just get an AGL key sphere with this guy if you can. If you can control it, AGL key spheres all the way. And then this guy does also seal the target enemy's super attack when collecting an STR key sphere, and then performs an additional super attack when collecting 7 or more key spheres. And then when there's an enemy whose name includes Goku, he changes int key spheres to AGL Tech or STR key spheres. So overall, I mean, he's kind of mid. I wouldn't say he's bad, but he's not really great either. So he's kind of like the definition of mid. I mean, you could use him if you want. He's on some pretty weak teams. You can see down here, Seekers of the Dragon Balls, Dragon Ball Saga, Terrifying Conquerors, Revenge, Earthlings, Earthbred Fighters, Joined Forces. I mean, these are some weak teams. Earthlings sucks, Terrifying Conquerors is decent, but in terms of like Dragon Ball Saga, Terrifying Conquerors units, it's really just Demon King Piccolo, and then, these guys. So they'll definitely be pretty good on that team. Dragon Ball Saga isn't really the greatest. Dragon Ball Seekers sucks as well. So they're helping some teams out just with them being kind of decent, but I don't know, man. They definitely could have benefited a lot more, or these teams could have benefited a lot more if this was like a godly slot 1 option, or if maybe they were a support or like a rainbow orb changer or something like that. But I'll take what I can get. For a free-to-play LR, they're pretty decent. So moving on to the other World Tournament EZA'S with these 4 guys right here. We'll just start off with the Kid Goku. So his leader skill is all types, Ki +3, HP and attack and defense plus 70%. No, just attack and defense plus 70%. Excuse me. I'm so used to saying HP and attack and defense plus 70%. So he's not giving any HP buffs in his leader skill, just attack and defense. So keep that in mind. And then his super attack effect is that he raises defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to enemy, 30% defense, always nice. And then his passive is that he gets 100% attack and defense, and then he gets 1 key up to 3, and then 59% attack and defense up to 159% attack and defense at the start of each turn. So actually that is pretty good once you go through 3 turns. So then if you get him turn 1, I think by turn 6 you'll have that fully built up. So it's not great, but I mean, you know, it's a pretty reasonable stat buff, so that definitely is very good. And then he also gets an additional 59% attack and defense when performing a super. He gets an additional 59% attack, and then attacks effective against all types when all allies attacking in the same turn are grade 8 power category allies. And then he has the giant transformation when conditions are met. And the conditions for this is that he has a low chance of turning into grade 8 once only. So I think that's like, is that a 10% or 15% chance? It's not a good chance at all, I'll say that. So you're not going to be seeing this insanely often, but if you get it, I guess it'll be pretty nice. And then these are his links. I mean, just basic Kid Goku stuff on the family. Guidance to the Dragon Ball, his Incredible Adventure, Transform, Sand Roar, Kamehameha, and then Shattering the Limit. So nothing insane with him, but then the Great Ape, what does he get? So he's greatly raising attack, destructive damage, and then 2 key and 59% attack. So no crits, no additionals, no super effective against all types. Definitely does suck, but he does have some built-in key, and then also he does have a little attack buff. So the grade 8 modes are going to be pretty useful, but overall, I mean, this guy's not insane. If you get this fully built up and you throw him in slot 2, with him getting all the defense on super, he could look pretty alright. So, yeah, pretty good with him. Nothing insane, but he's decent, I guess. But then now moving on to the Super Trunks. So, this guy could actually benefit the Dokkan Fest Super Trunks if he's good. So, I'm really hoping this guy has some value to him, at least defensively. So, starting off with his leader skill, it is Int type, Ki plus 3, HP attack and defense plus 100%. And then his super attack effect is that he causes supreme damage to enemy, and then raises attack and defense by 50% for 3 turns. Okay. That's pretty good, actually. So he's basically greatly raising attack and defense for 3 turns. So just by that, you're definitely going to want to go some additionals with this guy, because then if you're getting the double super with him, obviously, you know, a lot more defense is going to be carried over into the next turn. So very good with that. And then his passive is that he gets 3 key and then attack and defense plus 150%. He has a great chance of getting an additional 150% attack and defense. Okay. I don't really like that. A great chance of having more stats is never a good thing. But if you get it, I guess that's good. A lot of attack and defense. And then he has a high chance to get another 100% defense. Yeah, definitely don't like that. And then he has a medium chance to perform a critical hit. So he has built-in crits, so definitely dodge and additionals from the looks of this. And then he gets a guaranteed crit within the same turn after the character receives an attack. And then he gets another 50% attack when attacking. Okay, I mean, if you want me to be real with you, this guy does seem kind of mid, but he might be a somewhat useful addition to the Super Trunks' team. I mean, if you get lucky with the 150% attack and defense here, and then the other 100% defense, yeah, he's going to be cooking. Because then, once this kicks in, the 50% defense on a super attack effect, then his defensive stat is going to get really good. And then, obviously, if you get the guaranteed crit and then the 50% attack by receiving an attack, he's going to be doing a lot of damage as well. And then he's got built-in crits. So, this guy has a high ceiling. He could be really good defensively, and he could be doing a lot of damage as well. But that's if you get this great chance, and then you also have to get a high chance. So, it's like you got a 70% chance to be kind of good, and then the high chance to be, like, really good. But there's different layers to it because you have to get this great chance, and then you also have to get this high chance. So, that's what I'm saying. Not really a big fan of this right here, but everything else looks decent. So, overall, I would say he's kind of mid. Like, he's not bad, but, you know, he's kind of mid, because he's not necessarily amazing either. And then next up, we do have the Tech Ultimate Gohan. So, can this guy live up to the potential of the other Tech Ultimate Gohan? Let's find out. So, starting off with his leader skill, it is all types, Ki plus 3, HP attack and defense plus 70%. Pretty solid leader skill for, you know, World Tournament EZA. And then his super attack effect is that he raises defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage with a medium chance to stun the enemy. I guess that's pretty solid. And then his passive is that he gets 3 Ki, 150% attack and defense. He gets an additional 100% attack and defense when HP is 50% or above. Okay, that's pretty good. Most of the time you are going to have that activated. And then he gets 20% attack and defense up to 58% with every super attack performed. Okay, I mean, that's a nice little buff, I guess. If you have this fully built up, and then also, you know, you let him get the 30% defense on the super attack effect, just that alone will be pretty good, especially if you have this other 100% attack and defense activated right here. So then he performs an additional attack that has a high chance to become a super, and there's a Majin Buu Saga category enemy or ally other than the character attacking in the same turn. Okay, so at first when it said when there's a Majin Buu Saga category enemy, you kind of kind of lost me there. But then an ally as well, definitely very good. So if you want to throw this guy on just any team, as long as there's another Majin Buu Saga category ally, just throw him in slot 2 or slot 3, let him do his thing. He could look pretty good. So overall, not amazing, not bad, just kind of mid. I mean, he'll be pretty useful if you really have to use him on a team, but he's nothing insane. And his link set, I guess we can go over it. I forgot to go over this Trunks' link set just because it's basic stuff. But, I mean, you can see this link set right here, and you can see this link set right here. Just, again, basic stuff for a Gohan. Now, moving on to the final EZA, we've got the AGL Final Form Cooler. Now, this guy could be very beneficial just to the game overall because, of course, it is an extreme class unit. And you guys know how Dokkan likes to treat their extreme class units. So if this guy's good, definitely could be very beneficial. So his leader skill is AGL type Ki +3, HP and attack and defense plus 40%. And then STR type enemies minus 40% attack and defense. Okay. I mean, I guess that's good, but it's not like that really matters. And then his super attack effect is that he raises defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage, and then greatly lowers defense. And then his passive is that he gets 2 Ki, 100% attack and defense. And then he's supporting AGL type for 1 Ki and then 40% attack and defense? Okay, yeah, he's good. I mean, if you want to run like an extreme AGL team, then yeah, he's good. Because this guy does also have big bad bosses, because yeah, he's a world tournament unit, so they do like giving world tournament units big bad bosses. Yeah, he's good. He's definitely really good. Just that support alone is really useful. Maybe for taking on like, you know, the mono super battle road stages or like whatever, any of those things where you have to run just an AGL team and you're running an extreme AGL team, this guy could be very useful on there just because of that. And then, you know, he's getting defense on super. And then, like I mentioned, of course, he does have a good link set with a lot of these other extreme AGL units. So then this guy also performs 2 additional attacks. Each have a rare chance to become a super. So then with that, potentially you could get, what is that, 4 supers in a turn? So then if you get all those 4 supers off, then also you're raising defense on every single one of those super attack effects. So already, this guy is looking pretty impressive, I'm not going to lie. And then he also gets 20% attack up to 100%, and then a chance to evade enemies' attack, including super plus 5% up to 50% with every attack performed. Okay, and then he gets 50% attack and defense when there's a Terrifying Conquerors category ally in the same turn. Dude, this guy's looking good. He's going to be cooking because you got to keep in mind, he's launching at least 3 attacks in 1 turn. So then you're building up a 15% chance to dodge at least with every turn, if not a 20% if you get lucky with, you know, the hidden potential system and all that. So yeah, this guy's looking good. The 50% chance to dodge, all the defense he's getting on super, the insane support, 40% attack and defense is really good. And then of course the 1 Ki is nice. I mean, they probably could have made it, you know, like 2 or 3 Ki, but whatever. 40% to stats, very useful. And then obviously the 50% attack and defense here when there's a Terrifying Conquerors category ally, going to be very common to get. Most of the time you're running this guy with another Terrifying Conquerors category ally. So I would say out of all of these units, I mean, is this guy better than LR PILAF? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he's that far off. I would say they're very similar in terms of power. In terms of like an actual spot on a team, this cooler is definitely better, but PILAF with his dodge can be pretty good. I just wish they gave him defense on super. If they gave him defense on super, I mean, with the additionals he has built in, I feel like he could have been much better, but for some reason, 2023 Dokkan still doesn't like giving some units defense on super. I mean, look, if they've got 70% damage reduction, if they've got guard and then some other damage reduction, they don't need to get defense on super. But for a unit like this, yeah, defense on super would make them really good. So overall, some good EZAs. None of them are necessarily bad, but some of them are very, very mid. Like this PILAF, I mean, he's pretty good. This cooler is really good, like I said. But then the physical Goku, the Super Trunks, and then the Ultimate Gohan, they're not really great. They could be kind of good on a team if you build up with them. They all get defense on super, so that's definitely nice, but none of them really stand out to me other than, you know, this cooler right here. So I guess that pretty much has been the video. Let me know what you guys are thinking of all of these EZAs and the new LR PILAF down in the comments. And let me know if you are going to buy any of these guys, or if you're going to buy the medals to EZA them, obviously when they come out on Global, or if you're a JP player, let me know if you're going to buy the medals to EZA them once they get their EZA here in, I think, like a week. So yeah, once again, that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.